Hey YouTube, it is William here again, and I've just finished Resident Evil Revelations today, and I think I'm gonna do the review for it right now. One of the best things I could say about Resident Evil with Revelations is that the game itself, even though it is a Resident Evil title with Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield and all that, you don't need any prior Resident Evil experience to enjoy it. So with me being a noob to Resident Evil, it's pretty satisfying to be able to do that without, being confused by the story. And another thing that I don't like is because of one woman. I'm not sure that that's her on here or not. It could be. That woman is not him, that's Parker. Woman right there. Right there. In between Jill and Parker. Her name is Rachel. Now, she scares the hell out of me. Hey YouTube, it's Dark Will here, and I'm assuming we'll try to do a Resident Evil Revelations review. Loser, you couldn't even get past Rachel. Rachel. Alright, sorry Bruinskis. That woman, she scares me. I'm not even going to mention her name because I'm going to go shirtless again. And you don't want to see me shirtless again. I'm just too sexy for the interwebs to see me. So, Resident Evil Revelations is, at its core, a survival horror game. You only have a certain amount of ammo, a certain amount of health recovery items, and a lot of enemies between the next time you get another health recovery item. Another thing about it is the horror part. I mentioned this, I just talked about the survival, now it's the horror part. There aren't a whole bunch of enemies, actually. That's why they don't give you a whole bunch of ammo. Unfortunately, though, the enemies do take a heavy amount of ammo to take care of all of them. So, in order to do one or the other, survive or kill all the enemies, you gotta be prepared to take some damage. So, the horror part, they have some parts that a zombie falls out of a vent and scares you, and so on. After playing for some time, you start to expect these things, and they don't make you jump as much as they used to. However, there's always the thing of walking down a hallway, and you get to the end, and you see it splits, and you don't know which side there's going to be a zombie on, so you make sure you check both sides before you proceed. And there's usually not a zombie there. That's what Resident Evil Revelations does superbly, is it always leaves you questioning whether or not a zombie's going to show up. After a while, though, the game does start getting to a point where the zombies stop falling down out of nowhere, and they're attacking you. One of the biggest problems I had with the game was the swimming portions. It's just, you can't do anything to avoid the zombies, and the zombies basically come out and rape you to death. And the controls for the swimming portions were also a little hard to handle. It's like a slippery snake, if you get what I mean. You're swimming, and the controls are like a slippery snake. Slippery being wet. Never mind. Another problem I had to start was the controls. I just gotten off Metal Gear Solid, so I was used to the controls of Metal Gear Solid. However, after a while, I did get used to the controls. On about chapter 7 or so, I had finally gotten myself a Circle Pad Pro. Since I was used to the controls before the Circle Pad Pro, took some time to get used to. But after a while, I found it a lot more useful than using the controls from the last time. Just being able to aim quicker, move. I mean, I didn't have to press a button that then move to stop aiming. I was able to move and aim, making the game much more enjoyable than it was already before. The story is pretty expansive. I've heard that the gameplay is about 10 hours or so. I don't know how many hours I logged in it. I like taking my game slow and steady. There are quite a few newcomers in this game. I'm only going to name off most of the protagonists and an antagonist or two. So for the newcomers, you had Parker, Jessica, Raymond, Quint, Keith, and there's O'Brien and Rachel. I hate Rachel. Her laugh. She's a bitch. She's a. However, Rachel does not get the bitch award. For those who are watching but have not played the game, this next part contains spoilers. Any and out here saying there's a spoiler alert. Okay. Jessica betrays the entire team. She turns out to be this bitch. I mean, this just massive bitch. I mean, she's hitting on Chris, even though it's obvious Chris is already Jill's. And then she's like, oh, you can't take a hint. And then later, she's there, you know, trying to stop the ship from sinking. And then Parker is saying there's a mole from Morgan Lands, whatever his last name is, who's the main villain. And then you don't know who it is. And then she tries to shoot Raymond, and Parker saves Raymond, and then she self-destructs the fucking ship. And the worst part is, you don't even get to shoot her. She lives. She lives. So, with that in mind, the graphics are good, the story's good. However, the bad things are some of the zombies, bosses may seem a little too difficult at times. Mostly Rachel and the Skage Dead, the comm officer, the guy who's all Mayday. They're a little strong. The time sections don't really give you enough time to try to get to where you're supposed to be going, because you want to go kill zombies and you got a minute to get to where you're going, so you don't get a kill of the zombies. And finally, there's a very noticeable lag. I mean, sometimes the game even just freezes up during the loading scenes. It's never did it happen in battle, but it is noticeable to dock points. So you got good length, decent online play, raid mode where you basically get to play through chapters with a friend, but isn't really playing exactly through chapters with a friend. I said good graphics, good story, decent online play, decent amount of time played. But as for the negative things, you have Rachel, you have the lag. If you're new to the control set, yeah, the controls. I mean, you know, there's enough on both sides to give it a mediocre score, but personally, there's more good stuff. The good stuff outweighs the bad stuff in the end. And I give Resident Evil Revelations 4 stars out of 5.